Hello and welcome everyone. This is Type V3 with a DC Collectibles review of the Arrow TV series Deathstroke. Known also as Slade Wilson, he is the first notable ally turned enemy of Oliver Queen. Let's get the most obvious thing out of the way. Deathstroke looks stunning. Whether in package or out, he's sure to grab attention, and it should be no surprise as DC Collectibles didn't actually sculpt this figure themselves, instead sourcing out Gentle Giant Studios to do the majority of the heavy lifting. The quality of their work stands strong here. Deathstroke carries an imposing silhouette, with that heavy body armor and pronounced weaponry adding even more to his intimidating stature. Add to that, the semi-layered materials of the outfit give it that extra sense of depth. Of course, the head sculpt is the real winner here. The sharp angles and well-defined lines have that serious and psychotic look that a true villain deserves. Coloring and paint apps are also very well done. The metallic blue padding is especially great as it almost looks real. The orange highlights pull the entire costume together, though I can't tell if the uneven paint application was done on purpose for aesthetics. Regardless, I'm okay with how they are. If anything, I would have liked to have seen the dark straps throughout the body given a bit more emphasis, as they do tend to get lost in the black undersuit. Additionally, Slade Wilson's hands are permanently molded in a trigger finger and gripping hand combination, making him look a bit odd when not holding anything. For height, Deathstroke stands around 6 3/4 inches tall, which makes him sit in that awkward size of being too large for 1/12 scale yet too small for anything else. Don't expect this toy to look proper outside of the Arrow TV series toy line. Deathstroke has a ball-jointed neck. It's not the best out there. I mean, left and right can happen, but you can see it's not you don't get the most range of motion out of it. Up and down is sort of the same story. In fact, you can barely look upwards as it is. Downwards is sort of okay. I mean, the big problem is he has such a thick neck that everything gets stopped. There is no waist joint, but you do get a mid-torso joint. There's no ab crunch, it's just side to side. I bet you could spin it all the way around if you really wanted to, but there's just a lot of molding going on that does prevent that from happening. Shoulders can do a full 360 should that interest you. For outward movement, it's pretty disappointing. That's as far as you're going to get. The problem is he does have this huge shoulder pad that just blocks everything. To their credit, I like how this material is a bit softer, so whenever you move the shoulder upwards, it does tend to slightly flex, and it looks kind of realistic. It's a cool effect. The elbow is a single joint, and you can swivel at the elbow as well. It's not the best, but it's something. The wrists are on swivels, and they do have their own built-in wrist hinge as well. The hips can kick forward about that much, and they do come outwards about that far. There is no thigh swivel, there's a double jointed knee, and the ankles can pivot downwards, pivot upwards, and they do have ankle tilts as well. There are no swivels throughout the entirety of the leg, so for all the hard work of the double jointed knees and ankle tilts, it really doesn't matter because you're not going to be able to get them to any dynamic poses that look even remotely natural. Articulation is definitely not this toy's main strength, and clearly nothing was sacrificed for the visuals. Deathstroke can do very basic things, though I suspect he'll more than likely take on a neutral pose in most displays. Deathstroke includes a total of 4 weapons, and they're all stored on his body. There's a pistol on his hip, a katana on his back, a small knife on his lower back, and a large knife in his left boot. All the weapons are detailed well enough. They could be better, but I'm not disappointed. Clearly, the gun and blades can only be used by their appropriate hands. However, this does mean that you can't actually dual-wield the blades. Also, the longer of the 2 knives has an oddly shaped handle, making it impossible to wield at all. This should upset me, but I've always been more of a pistol and sword guy anyways. I'll make this one short. As a toy, the DC Collectibles Arrow TV series Deathstroke isn't very good. It's clear that visual presentation was the main focus of this figure, and as such, that remains its standout quality. In fact, that's exactly the reason I bought the figure in the first place. It just looked that good, in package, on the store shelf. Now, if you were hoping that this toy had something else to offer outside of looking pretty, it doesn't. Articulation is confusingly poor, thus limiting a huge amount of play value. Its odd scale can also be viewed as a negative as it won't line up correctly with other popular toy lines. I will say, however, it's built in the same way it poses, like a brick, so I don't expect it to break very easily. Additionally, between the solid construction and larger size, the $25 retail price makes sense, though again, you could probably find toys that offer more playability for that price. To be fair, this toy is largely aimed at a market that may not even be into toy collecting to begin with, so with that in mind, if you're an Arrow fan and just want something to represent your support of the TV series, then I'd say that the DC Collectibles Deathstroke should adequately suit your needs. But that's all for me. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you want to see more of these Arrow TV series reviews. I'm sure I could always dig out another figure if the interest is there.